Welcome everybody to the Capital Recovery Center All Recovery Meeting. My name is Michael Mickey Williams Jr. And we're going to be going over, let's see what we got. Let me make sure everything is a go. All right, we go. All right, welcome everybody to our All Recovery Meeting. My name is Michael Mickey Williams Jr. Let's see what we got. So if anybody need any recovery support services, our number is on the screen, 856-391-7449 or 1-800-236-2448. That's if anybody out there and you're in need of any type of recovery support services, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help you in any way possible that we can try to assist you in. Here at Capital Recovery Center, we use what's called a multiple pathways of recovery. We are not just strictly locked in on just using one particular way. However, we go over a different host of different lessons during the course of the week. This particular group is called our All Recovery Meeting, and we'll be going over a particular topic. We're going to be talking about how to access faith-based relapse prevention strategies. All right, some faith-based relapse prevention strategies. This particular strategy is something that I use for my own personal life and my recovery walk and my deliverance from my strongholds and addictions or whatever terminology you would like to use. It has always been challenging when you're starting a path on your recovery journey. You focus on a lot of the substance aspect of it, but a lot of individuals don't understand that there's a whole lot of different things that you have to add into your arsenal, if you will, when you're trying to maintain. I love the word maintain because maintain means to keep something in existence. So the lesson I'm gonna go over today, I'm gonna make sure, I think I already put it in the comment section for you guys, but I want you to, I'll put it in here again. Let me see, I'm not sure if it went through. Let's see. Let me hit that. Let me hit this right here. The lesson I'm going over today is in the comment section. All right. I'm sorry y'all didn't get alerted. Well, how you doing, Miss Dawn? How you doing? All right, Miss Lorna, good to see you. I'm also going to be on here tonight at 7 p.m. All right. So the lesson we're going over tonight or today is, let me put it on the screen, and I'm gonna also put the lesson up right here. Hopefully y'all can see it. I don't know if it's small or big. I can't tell. I'm sorry, but I can tell. Let me look at my phone. You could see it. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, but I'm going to be going over this particular lesson right here, and it says how to access faith-based relapse prevention strategies. And again, how I got to this lesson today, again, here at Capital Recovery Center, we deal with a multiple pathways of recovery. However, how I got to doing this particular lesson, because someone asked me these simple words: what do you do? And I said, what do you mean? They said, what do you do for your walk with your recovery and your relapse prevention and everything? And I said, that's a great question. So some of the things that I'm going over today are, all of the things that I am going over today are literally the things that I do to maintain my sobriety or my recovery, if you will. All right. So everything that I'm going to go over today, I'm not only teaching it from a perspective of me finding this lesson online today, but I also literally do these things in my own personal walk. So let's read. It says there is a reason the 12-step program urges participants to reach out to a higher power for help in overcoming their addictions. Addiction is a complex disease that eats at your faith, family, and your soul. It fosters a sense of helplessness, especially if you're trying to conquer your addiction and failed, maybe multiple times. That is my story, multiple times. Yet admitting you are powerless against an addiction and seeking the support and tools necessary to succeed is an act of faith. Now, you can have multiple times where you have suffered from a relapse or whatever. I did multiple times. For 22 years of my life, I struggled with crack cocaine and heroin over and over again. But to admit that you need help is an act of faith. So because you can have issues with something or know that you have issues or struggles or whatever, but admitting that you have those things, that's another whole monster. Because you can't actually get help for something that you're not willing is a problem. Man, I need to slow that down. I'm gonna pull over, pause, and park right quick. You cannot get help for something that you are not willing to admit is a problem. So when you admit that you have this particular problem, that is actually an act of faith. Truly, it takes an act of faith to do it. Let's keep going. As a faith-based treatment center, we recognize that addressing only the physical symptoms of substance abuse will have a short-lived result. Now, what happens is a lot of individuals will try to address the physical symptoms of the substance. And I'm not the only one. That I thought, I go to detox for a few days, come home, I'm cured. I did my detox, I'm all right. And there's a lot of individuals who still feel that way at this particular time in their process. They think, I took care of the physical symptoms, so I'm okay. But no, that's only a short-lived results, right? I do know, now that it's coming to me, I do know some individuals who have never went to treatment, detox or inpatient treatment, and who have been successful in their recovery walks. I do know individuals like that. To name a few, my mother and my father, right? And I know a couple of individuals outside of my parents who never went to a treatment facility at all to start their recovery process or their deliverance from a stronghold, right? They didn't never go. So I'm not saying that you have to do it, but I'm saying that the percentage of those individuals, select group of people who have never went, is not that very high. All right, trust me. It is obvious we are much more than a biological organism responding to physical stimuli. An effective recovery program has to reach that unique part of each of us that decides what is important, what comforts or triggers us, and what gives and takes away our hope and strength. Now, that's a whole mouthful right there. That's why I'm glad I gave you the lesson. Listen, we have to figure out what's important to us. We got to figure out what's important, what comforts us, what triggers us, and what gives and take away our hope and our strength. Now again, let me pull over, pause, and park. You got to figure out what's important to you, right? You got to figure out what's important to you. And not only do you have to figure out what's important to you, you got to also figure out what triggers you. And now, even if you're helping other individuals, right, that's cool. But those individuals are going to have to learn those things because those things that constantly come back up, especially when you talk about what takes away your hope and what takes away your strength. A negative individual always seems to drain me. If somebody called me, I don't care if they related to me or I don't know them or I do know them. If they constantly always talking about negative, it literally takes my strength away. So I gotta know that. But that's something that you have to know in your recovery walk as well. What takes away your strength and what takes away your hope? Because you want to distance yourself as much as possible from those individuals. All right, let's see where we are. Our residents come from, this is a lesson from the people that I put the link into. Our residents come from many backgrounds and we will have a different idea of what our higher power looks like, regardless of your individual faith tradition. When you feel vulnerable, overstressed, or triggered, you can turn to the higher power to center yourself and find peace. Here are some ways to do that. Now, we're going to go over some of the things that I do to help with my recovery process or for my relapse prevention. Obviously, relapse prevention is preventing me from relapsing, okay? So it's very clear. It's a great thing to study. There's a guy named Terry Gorski. I learned from my supervisor, Ms. Dawn Heaton, that Terry Gorski is a great person that if you want to read about relapse prevention or you want to look for books dealing with relapse prevention, Terry Gorski is a great person to get. He has one book I've mentioned because I love it. It's called Pathways to Recovery. Pathways to Recovery, all right? So let's move forward. The one thing I want to add up here is this. Let's read, study scripture. Remember, we're talking about how to access faith-based relapse prevention strategies. The Holy Scriptures represents the detailed historical record of God, this dealing with his people starting from the creation of the world. Scripture books such as the Old Testament tell the story of countless individuals who dealt with extreme problems. We be thinking we got problems on a personal and a national level. By studying their lives, we learn how they moved forward despite fear and doubt because they believed in something bigger than themselves. And we draw strength from their examples. The scriptures also teaches us that God will always support us and help us get back on track when we stumble in our recovery. Now, I know I ain't talking about my own self. Whenever we stumble in our process, right, we get very discouraged. So the discouragement will always have you in a place where you're feeling like you're not worthy to try again. Or one of the times when I suffered the relapse, I felt like since I relapsed, I might as well go worse. I might as well do things a little bit harder than I did, which in itself sounds so crazy. But I was so discouraged because I had relapsed again that I lost hope of trying to make it take another step forward. And that's where the higher power kicked in at, right? I had to believe in something that was greater than myself, something bigger than myself. And once I tapped into that belief that I had as my higher power, once I tapped into that, something greater than myself, I was able to continue and get back on the path. So the next one, remember we're talking about on the lower third, how to access faith-based relapse prevention strategies. Another one here. This is a big one. All of them are big. This is good. Self-acceptance. We all make mistakes and have unhealthy coping techniques. Some are more visible, damaging than others, but it is part of being human. The only way to move forward is to accept our past without constantly reliving it and beating ourselves up. Remember, I just talked about that. You can't change what has happened. You can only change who you become because of those experiences. Keep your head up and look to the future. So you have to have self-acceptance. When we have self-acceptance, we can't constantly be reliving it. When I just mentioned about the last time I suffered the relapse or something like that, I can't keep reliving the relapse, right? You have to have self-acceptance and able to move forward. So no matter what state you might be in, you might be suffering from a relapse or you're in a relapse state right now. In order for you to move forward, you have to just accept that situation has turned out how it is, and it's time to move forward. There will be no way for you to move forward if you don't deal with your self-acceptance. Let's look at something else it says right here. It says, the only way to move forward is to accept our past without constantly reliving it. And one of my mottos is always anywhere but backwards. I don't matter what the situation is. I won't relive something that has already caused me some type of pain. It's no need to relive it, because one of the main reasons why you don't have to relive it is because you cannot change it if you suffer the relapse, or you messed up in a relationship, or you messed up on your employer, or whatever it is. Just move forward. It's okay. It's called self-acceptance. Let's look at this next one. Self-awareness. This is another one. It is essential to discover your triggers. If you feel the need to use chemical, this thing blocked it off. Figure out where the stress is coming from. Often it's not the event itself, but our feelings about it and how we viewed ourselves that make us lose hope. So you got to find out where the stress is coming from, because we always associate our current use or relapses with something happening in our lives. Oh man, see, I'm telling y'all from personal experience. Listen, sometimes we blame or we'll do things on, or we say that we use alcohol or a substance, and then you ask why. You'll always hear a person come up with a particular situation or a problem that happened. And I always, well, not always, I learned that the problems that the individuals use, me, myself, that I use, was always problems that other individuals in my world, in the world, has also suffered just like me. But they didn't use a substance. So it wasn't the problem. It was how to handle the problem that was the issue. They knew how to cope with the problem that they faced, even though the problem was the exact identical problem I had. I didn't have any coping skills. They did. And that's the problem with a lot of individuals right now. Not developing certain coping skills has prevented them from using those coping skills when the problems arise. So let me read this again. It says, take the time to figure out precisely what you feel and what will help you challenge negative self-beliefs. Negative self-belief, reframe stressful events. So when you have negative self-belief, you got to reframe that particular negative self-belief because they come in patterns. And what I mean by that, when first you start thinking about you relapse, now you're thinking the worst is going to happen, or you're thinking about this only happens to me. Like they come in waves, if you will. Negative self-belief comes in waves. So let's see what else we got here. Hold on. All right, let's see. All right, we got one more. Let's look at meditation. For Christians, you could focus on God's grace and giving his life so we could live better. Others find a spiritual connection to nature. Either way, connecting to something infinitely more significantly than yourself and your problems can help you put things into perspective and distance yourself from your triggers. This is another key right here. This is important. I'm talking about accessing faith-based relapse prevention strategy. Meditation. A lot of times people are so busy, consumed with doing everything, right, that they never actually take the time to meditate. I don't know why, but individuals don't seem to take enough time to meditate. When you sit I mentioned it a lot for those who listen to me more than one day. In my house, there's a room in our house where we have pictures, flowers. It's a bay window. And there's no clock in there. There's no phones in there. There's not a lamp in there. We got the ceiling light. But that's a place where sometimes I just sit on the couch and I just meditate. There's nothing in there, right? I would have to literally bring the devices in there. And if I bring my phone in there, I would have to bring it. But that's a place where you can meditate, or you might find your own. That's how it is in my home. But you can find a nice place to meditate. When you use meditation, sometimes you'll find a lot about calming your spirit down. Or sometimes you might hear me mention, let me calm myself down, right? When I get home from work, before I jump into something else, I like to go to the gym when I get home. But after I do that, I like to just slow everything down. Slow it down. It's okay. Sometimes we just got to slow it down, meditate. Let's look at what we got here. That's right. That's right, Miss Lorna. Coping skills. That's right. Who else we got here? That's right. Make sure coping skills is important. Let's look at another one here. Let's look at prayer. Another one. This can be dicey topic for people who aren't religious. So it might help to understand what prayer means to people of faith and what they accomplish. In prayer, we admit of our helplessness, vulnerability to addictions, and wavering resolve. That alone has power. We seek guidance and strength from our higher power. For people of faith, this means God. Their faith gives them strength to keep fighting. Connecting to nature can also benefit. So when you're going outside, I know me, I like to go outside. I like to, even though the pollen and stuff be real difficult for me to stand there for a long period of time, but I like sitting on the back porch and just watching nature. You know what I mean? And then I'll sit there, and sometimes I'll sit there and just be praying for other individuals more than I pray for myself. right? I want to pray for other individuals that they be successful in all the things that they trying to accomplish and get delivered from the struggles that they might have. Not that I don't have any myself. I just prefer to use my time of prayer to lift other individuals up more than I lift myself up. If you understand that, say amen. Music. Oh, this is one of my best. That's why I got these headphones right here. They don't even work when I call somebody on the phone, but they work with my music. Music can alter our emotions or reinforce them. It's important you pay attention to what you're listening to. While people find different styles of relaxing or annoying, finding the type of music that help you experience calm is a worthwhile endeavor. Once you know what you find peaceful, once you know what you find peaceful, block everything else out. Listen while taking deep, slow breath and expand your stomach rather than your chest. This will help lower your body's stress hormones, bringing you out of the fight or flight. Listen, so music, you got to find some real good music, like whatever you enjoy, right? Because you might have other individuals who listen to something that you don't enjoy, but it's not about their music. It's about you finding music that you enjoy. I can listen to a lot of different type of music. If I'm in the gym, I can switch it up. I can listen to music in the gym that I might not listen to while I'm driving, but there's some music that I like to listen to while I'm driving. I switch it up. It really doesn't matter to other individuals. It matters to you. What do you like to enjoy? The music you like to enjoy. These are all strategies that we're talking about. How to access faith-based relapse prevention strategies. And I'll go over all of them. I believe it was about 8 of them or 9, I'm not sure. So the last one, I believe, it says addiction is a lonely disease. When we feel out of control, we want to hide our imperfections from the world. Oh, man. At the same time, associating with people who support your habit will only worsen things. I was just talking to somebody that the other day. You don't want to, when you're going through something, you don't want to associate yourself with everybody who's going through the exact same thing you're going through when you're trying to come out of it, right? You want to put yourself around a very strong support network. I often say that your recovery support network is probably one of the greatest things you can have next to your relationship with God if you have one, right? That recovery support network can be there for you when you need it. Find sober friends and faith partners who support you rather than your addiction. When you feel triggered, seek positive company to see you through bad moments rather than isolate yourself. So you want to make sure that you have a great connection, a recovery support connection. You definitely want to make sure that you got people who are going in the same direction as you. So again, we was talking about how to access faith-based relapse prevention strategies. Let's go over one time. First one was scripture study. Study the scriptures and let them help you, guide you during any type of difficult time you might have. You got to also have self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is accepting the situation that you have been in, and knowing that that does not determine who you are. If you messed up and relapsed or something like that, move forward. The problem happened. Now keep going. Next, self-awareness. Be aware of, the circumstances and situations that you might find yourself in, and is able to. And it says something right here. Reframe or change negative self-belief. So when your self-awareness is good, you know that the negative self-belief that you're telling self is not truly who you are. So the next one was meditation. Do some meditating. Meditate on some, just relax. A lot of times we just don't meditate. Some of our problems can be accomplished or overcome, if you will, if we just pause, meditate, breathe, relax. Some of the situations you're facing are situations that other individuals may be facing in the world as well. Just meditate, relax. The next one was prayer. You got to pray about some stuff. I told you I try to pray more for individuals than myself because I know that I have this type of faith that it's going to work out for my good. And I see individuals that might be going through a difficult time. So I want to lift them up in prayer, even to them or their children or spouses, whatever. Next, it was music. Woo! What music you enjoy. Don't try to be like somebody else. Find the music that you enjoy. Certain music I hear today, I feel like I can't enjoy that, man. I feel like I gotta put a bulletproof vest on before I can't enjoy it. I find music that you can enjoy. And the last one was connections. It's a big deal here. You want to have a recovery support network and stay connected. If you're faith based, you want to stay connected to your spiritual foundation, family, and people that you go to church with or whomever. If you're not a faith based individual and you have a connection or recovery support network, you want to stay connected to them. All of these things we went over today are things that you can use to have access to faith-based relapse prevention strategies. All right. It was good that you was here today. If you have any comments, concerns, criticism about Craig, Reno, or Call, just let me know, and we'll get back to you. And remember, if you need any recovery support lessons or help with any recovery services, look at the number on the screen, 1-800-236-2448, or you can call us here at the office, 856-391-7449. Again, my name Michael Mickey Williams Jr. I'm one of your recovery coaches here at Capital Recovery Center. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all soon.